The age of AI is here, boys and girls. Time to surrender your brains to Skynet, as your entire family is melted down into nothing but algorithms to be used in ChatGPT and character AI.
Let me tell you something, Joe. I have dreams, man, right? And most of them, I'd say 99% of them, they come true. One time I dreamt of cereal. Guess what? Next morning, breakfast, bowl of Fruit Loops.
Are you serious?
But in all seriousness, when the topic of AI comes up, you usually have two parties. The people that think everything about it is fine, there is no consequences, no drawbacks, no downsides, and everything involving AI is nothing but beneficial. And then you have the other party that watched like 2 Terminator films, had a nervous breakdown from it, and they think that the end is nigh and doomsday is just around the corner.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Now, AI has some great advancements. You could script lines of code to basically turn into your favorite video game character and live your bizarre fantasies with. There are some other benefits to AI as well. For example, just ask Atrioc. But in all seriousness, there have been some actual spooky developments with AI. For example, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, which basically created ChatGPT, was begging US senators to regulate AI. Now, it is very weird to hear a situation where someone is asking for the government to regulate their own business. You know, if that happened with Apple or something, maybe they wouldn't be worth trillions and billions. Now, his main concern was how AI can be used to create interactive disinformation. Now, the thing is, the AI technology at the minute, it can really only fool Facebook boomers. But what if it gets better, more insidious, more developed, and can actually trick normal people? The scariest thing is about all this, we are actually starting to see it. Now, like I just mentioned about voice AI, you know, using it to get people to say things they never actually said. That's kind of funny sometimes. But the reason why you can always tell it's an AI, because no matter how good the inflection is, sometimes the voice glitches out, the tone changes, they end a sentence with a question, not really an actual, you know, a normal ending to a sentence. There's something off about that. And it goes to the reptilian part of your brain, your subconscious, that okay, this isn't an actual human that's speaking right now. It is an AI. Your brain is basically going, that isn't a real person, that's an imitation. But what if, for example, someone were to call you on a connection that isn't very secure, for example, a phone line? You know when you get like a call on your phone and it's not from Discord, by the way, we're not talking about Discord in this video, but like a normal phone call. Probably haven't had one of them in the past 5 years, but the connection on phone lines, it sucks. It isn't clear. You can barely understand what someone's saying, especially if they've, you know, they're like ESL, English second language. Maybe, just maybe, with that shoddy connection, you could trick someone into thinking that is a real person. And that is exactly what one scammer in Arizona did, calling a woman pretending to be her daughter. Now, I do want to say that phone call scams are some of the most common crimes in the world. In the UK, for example, fraud is the biggest crime in the UK. I just want to give a little example here, right? You have more chance of buying a lottery ticket, filling out the numbers, and winning that lottery ticket in one go than buying a single phone, putting a SIM into it that no one knows the phone number of except you, and on that same day getting about 5 scam calls from some Nigerian businessman saying you've inherited $15 billion. But again, when someone calls you, you know they're a scammer because it's someone you don't really recognize. But in this situation, they're using the voice of a family member against them. And, you know, because it's a parent, someone that isn't really into the whole AI thing, they believed it. And it's terrifying.
But her 15-year-old was out of town skiing. Maybe there had been an accident.
I pick up the phone and I hear my daughter's voice and it says, "Mom," and she's sobbing. And I was, "What happened?" And she's like, "Mom, I messed up." And she's sobbing and crying. And then I hear a man's voice say, "Put your head back, lie down." And then I'm like, wait, what's going on? And this man gets on the phone and he's like, "Listen here, I've got your daughter. This is how it's gonna go down. You call the police, you call anybody. I'm gonna pop her stomach so full of drugs, I'm gonna have my way with her and I'll drop her off in Mexico." And at that moment, I just start shaking. I'm like, what? And in the background, she's going, "Help me, Mom, please, help me," and bawling.
And you have absolutely no doubt in your mind that that was her voice.
Oh, 100% her voice, 100% her voice. It was never a question of, you know, who is this? Or it was completely her voice. It was her inflection. It was the way she would have cried. I never doubted for 1 second it was her. That's the freaky part that really got me to my core.
But the 15-year-old never said any of it. It was just a clone.
So again, like I said, this is absolutely terrifying, and it really would confuse most parents. When you hear a scam caller, it's like, okay, bro, I'm not falling for this. Or sometimes you'll play into it as well. But this, it's a family member. It's a voice that they recognize. I really do feel, honestly, in the not too distant future, it's going to be like when you get a phone call from someone that's like a family member or a friend, you're going to almost have to have like a set of code words to validate if that person's even real or not. This sounds really like dystopian, but I used to do that as a kid. When my parents would call me and they kind of thought that I was in, you know, some kind of danger or some kind of trouble, they would ask me like a certain word or a phrase in a conversation. Obviously, it was a natural sounding word. They didn't just say halfway through the conversation, "Where are the numbers? Where are the numbers, Mason?" It wasn't anything like that. They'd just say like a casual word or bring up something that, you know, kind of sounded off topic a little bit, but it wouldn't be how I answered. It'd be the way I'd answer, you know, if I could communicate with my parents that if I was okay or not. Thankfully, I never needed to use like the bad situation word, but, you know, it's good that my parents thought of that and put that in there, because I feel like scenarios like that are going to be much more common as we get more and more calls from people that we don't even... We think that they're an actual person. We think that they're our friend, but they're not.
You got to slow down and diffuse the situation.
The FBI's Dan Mayo says scammers who use voice cloning often find their prey on social media.
They're going to be looking for public profiles that have as much information as possible on you. And when they get a hold of that, they're going to dig into you.
The Federal Trade Commission says scammers will often ask their victims to wire money, send cryptocurrency, or pay the ransom with gift cards. Once the money is gone, it's almost impossible to get it back.
You know what the best thing is about doing the research on this video? It was really nice to find out that the value of a human life is the same as an iTunes gift card. It really does show you how the cost of life is worth absolutely nothing today. What's that? You have my daughter hostage? £150 PlayStation gift card, you say? No, I couldn't. There's so many games to buy. Like, Oh, wait a minute. There's no games. I'll give you the card now. I like how we're talking about a video of families' lives being in danger, and I'm still just using it to snipe the PS5. I get paid to do this. I get paid to do... Can you imagine that? I get paid to do this. But yeah, overall, it is a terrifying situation. Apparently, the scammer at one point asked the mother for like $1 million, which she probably didn't even have. Or if she did, like she would have had it like, you know, as a mortgage on the house or something. Unfortunately, scammers really are the parasites of like the modern world, and they're not going anywhere because most of them are set up in countries that you're not really going to be able to get any kind of extradition order to. And what are you going to do if there's like, you know, 100 people in a scam call center? What are you really going to do? I remember Mark Rober, a YouTuber, and he talked about snitching on like an Indian call center and he actually got it shut down. But I hate to admit it, they'll probably just set up somewhere else in a couple weeks or so. But it really is weird to think how voice AI can be used to emulate other people. Like imagine getting a call on like Discord or something, and then, you know, you think it's someone that you're talking to, like your little Discord kitten, but it isn't. It's someone from like Albania that's trying to scam you out of your Discord Nitro.